Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back again for another review straight from TIFF 2022. I am now talking about Netflix up-and-coming Wendell and the Wild. And whether you know it or not, you know this director. Henry Selick is responsible for Nightmare on Elm Street. He's responsible for James and the Giant Peach, Coraline, stop-motion animation as its raw form is connected to this man as intimately as it is somebody like Tim Burton. So this story is very interesting and different all at the same exact time. And I'm not just because of the talent, which I'll get to that in a second, but it's very dark at times. The baseline of it is you have a girl named Kat, and she's had some tragedy in her past. She leaves home, or sent away from her home, and has to come back years later to now she is inheriting two legitimate demons. That is that's the baseline of this. And the demons are being played by Keegan-Michael and Jordan Peele. And of course it's gonna be funny because you got these two men here, but they're trying to do something that I don't want to spoil here. And it's not necessarily all bad, but it's not for the betterment of other people. And with Kat as a character, she is lost. Like, she's damaged, she's hurt, she's had to be hard. And as she goes to this new school, something almost happens, almost kills somebody, and she realizes she saved them. And everybody looks at her very differently, but she doesn't know how that happened. And that's when she gets connected with these two demons. What did I think about this? I think it was actually really good. The stop motion animation is just great. Like, I think that this is probably one of their best looking stop motion animations since Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, it looks really freaking good. Because they don't just use, the generic like movements and running and stuff like that. They add new elements like underwater sequence, like wind blowing, like how the stop motion camera is gonna slide to the left and you see a character being pushed out. Or even like, this is also very violent too. There's murder in this. Like, there's death, there's language. So it's definitely not necessarily for kids. But I think the other key thing about it, and I said I was going to get back to it, is the voice cast. Like, you've got Lyric Ross playing the role of Kat, and she's got such a vulnerability about her, but then as an edge to her. You can tell she's one of those girls that is deeply hurt, but when she devotes herself to something or someone, she's going to completely fall through. And you can tell it in the way that she's vocalizing this character. I think she's doing a lot with her vocal range. Jordan and Keegan are hilarious. Like, they're the dynamic duo. And every kind of animation they do, they just riff off of each other perfectly. It's just interesting because Wendell and Wild are not what I would consider characters that I would rewatch or anything like that. I think that they just work very well for this specific storyline, because the storyline is not just about them. There's also some inclusion that's very important that's going on, but they're conveying it in a very specific way, because I don't want to spoil it, but when you understand what's going on with the town that she left, and what the mayor or the state government is trying to actually do, you're like, wow, that's real. Like, that happens, and that is something that should be stopped. Even the way that people are being profiled, or even the way people are being seen. There's a character in Raoul that's played by Sam, I think it's Zendaya. Like, they do a very interesting job of connecting with Kat very early on. And even with that character, they do something that they normally don't do in these kind of animations, which is show how a person can evolve to this way, and why. Like, they're not hitting you on the back of the head with it. They're not making a big thing about it. And I think as natural as it is, it comes off really well. You got Angela Bassett in this. Ving Rhames in this. So the voice cast is great, but is it something that, I would rewatch over and over and over again? I think when I got to the first, second act, I was kind of like, I don't know, like this might be a little too out there. But then I got to the third act and I was like, wow, I feel all the emotions. Definitely something that I would want somebody else to rewatch with me. So that's how I feel for you guys. I think that it's definitely worth you going and checking out Wendell and Wild. It's very different from what the director has done before, but it's also something that I think that people can connect with, especially when you start getting into the supernatural elements of what's happening. I think that is either one, going to throw people, or it's going to be like a really interesting attraction. And because it's being distributed on Netflix, I think this may be something that might be a draw for everybody, but it's definitely not for everybody. This is not for kids. So I would be mindful if your kids watching this, because I don't think that certain subject matters, like it's a little out there, a little, dare I say, kind of demonic at times, but they don't overdo it or oversell it too much. So it's unwatchable or too much over the left side. But let me know what you guys think. I will rate this at a 8 out of 10. I'll talk to you guys soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell button. Make sure you comment, guys. Peace, people.